Bedu, Cassie Kwarit, Nahanko Adana Eyite. Hello, my name is Cassie, and I'm a member of the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians. I am our Cultural Resources Coordinator, and I am a Native artist. As a Cultural Resources Coordinator for the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, I wear a lot of different hats. Some days I might be out in the woods identifying plants or gathering, checking on plant resources that may be used later, or I might be in our preschools, I might be in local schools, I plan events and put on classes, I might be coordinating with other teachers to put on classes for to serve our tribal members. I think when you're government and you're serving a community, sometimes you're never going to do it all right. And it takes a long time to build up processes that work. And when you think of us as a sovereign nation, we've only been around for 40 years. Like, that's small potatoes for a government. And look at all that we're already able to do and to provide, and beyond just creating and growing. When the tribe started, it was like 20 people in an office, and now we're like 100 plus people all over the county. So I don't know, I think the tribe is going in such an amazing direction, and I just can't wait to see what it looks like for my grandkids. And I just hope it continues to grow in the same way that it does, or that it is. My career journey is unorthodox, unorganized. It's just not normal to what you would look like. I never ever grew up thinking I'm gonna serve culture. I'm gonna live and breathe it and be all about it, and that was never an option growing up. I never thought about that. I had 100 other things I was gonna be when I grew up, and this is where I was meant to be. When I graduated high school, I started attending our community college in the town that I grew up in, and failed a class for the first time and sat in my car and bawled my eyes out and didn't know what it was like to cope with not having straight A's, not being able to balance everything in my life, moving out on my own and things like that. It gets tricky and hard, and sometimes you don't want to ask for help because you feel like you're a big kid and you should be doing it all on your own. And then I dropped out and thought, this isn't for me. Voted most likely to succeed and just did not feel like that at that time in my life, and just started making changes to make things better, and decided to go back to school a few years later. I started with my certificate in medical billing and coding, and when I received that, I rolled over into taking my bachelor's of healthcare administration, and kind of in the midst of that, I was accepted for a position in our tribal health clinics and for the Cow Creek Health and Wellness Center, and packed up my whole life and moved to my community that I never got to grow up in or live in, and just found home for the first time and got to be near my family and some of the closest people to me, and started working there. And I guess in the process of that, really found culture. I was already into it before that, but I don't know, there's something about coming home that makes everything feel right, and soaked up and learned everything that I could, and was eventually asked to step into my current position, which is the Cultural Resources Coordinator for the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians. And this is where I'm so happy to be. I love my job. I love getting to connect people to culture. And I think some of my struggles with connecting to culture helped me be able to better serve tribal members, be it because of distance or uneasiness or just eagerness to learn. And yeah. I think getting to teach and create and teach other people to create is probably where I'm the happiest. I love getting to see people like find what maybe their passion is. Like the first time I got to make a ribbon skirt, I was like, this is for me. I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, I'm sure of it. And it's because one person took the time to make sure I had the opportunity to learn. And that was at her house, at her kitchen table, like on a Saturday where she could have been doing other things. I don't know, I think creating a space where people have that opportunity, and maybe it takes 20 things to find what makes you the most happy, but let's do it. Let's go through them all. Let's find something that speaks to your heart. So I really feel like my life's purpose would be serving my tribe. I think that that's where I'm the most happy and where I'm the most invested in seeing how things grow. And yeah. I live, breathe, sleep, eat culture. When I took this job, I was like, awesome, I'm getting paid for the thing that I do on my free time already. I come to work and do culture, and I go home and do culture, and in my weekends I do culture, and it's just my whole life. And yeah, it's really beautiful to get to come to work and be excited and happy to be here. We're not a tribe or a people without culture, and so much of that was taken. Our grandparents had to lose so much and grow up with being told that they couldn't practice culture, that they couldn't say that they were Native. So to be able to be in a position that revitalizes that and helps people connect again is really healing to our community. And it serves back to giving back identity that was taken, and just helping people find interests and things that excite them and feel surrounded in a community that loves them and wants them to be successful. Culture is medicine. It is how our communities are going to heal, and it is like what prevents maybe our youth from following the wrong path, or it's just going to be what connects them to being sure of themselves and knowing themselves and things like that. But like, I don't know, that like preteen age, like culture is so cool, and you get to make things with your hands and use plants and get dirty and I don't know, like learn about your people and what makes you you, and yeah, it's just cool. I think there's a period where not everybody at school is tribal and they're not doing the same activities that you are, and so there comes a point where maybe you don't want to participate anymore. It's not cool to be out there dancing when none of your friends are, right? But like it is, and you're gonna regret not stepping out on that dance floor, learning to make that thing while you're young, or paying attention when our language teachers speak. Like, I just wish I paid so much more attention when some of our teachers were trying to like corral us into learning, and I feel like I missed out on a big chunk that could have made my path easier, just because it wasn't cool. It wasn't what we wanted to be doing at the moment, but yeah. The whole reason this building exists, the whole reason our casino exists, our clinics, everything revolves around serving tribal members. and helping them with education or social services or veteran services or healthcare. So our tribe gives a lot, and I think it's important to find ways that you can give back and to aid in the practice of tribal sovereignty and the protection of it, because it helps our community, and not just our community, but the surrounding community as well. I don't know, it's something that feels right. It feels like I know where I'm standing and that I'm serving a greater purpose than myself. So be it helping our littles learn things, or hanging out with our elders, and or maybe it's going to be writing policies that are able to further protect tribal sovereignty and create relationships beyond us and things like that. That's where I want to be. There are 9 federally recognized tribes in Oregon, and the majority of them are confederated tribes, meaning that they were made up of a lot of different tribes that were pushed onto a reservation, and they might have come from very different directions, and that those tribes were established long before state lines were. And so it's an absolute privilege to still get to live on your tribal property and tribal lands, because so many people are generations away from having been born on their tribal lands. So I think sense of place and sense of identity in Oregon can get really skewed, and even like sense of family. I have cousins that may have ended up in that moved to another reservation, so we're not even technically considered the same tribe, and that's a weird thing to navigate. We are not all knowing, like tribal members are still very much so learning. We're still trying to find things in museums that match up to stories that we've heard, and unfortunately we have to rely a lot on what was documented in this area to be able to learn things, and not so much on, like, I guess just people's ways of knowing, because so much was lost and so many families didn't have the capabilities of passing things on. That can also give a lot of difficulty finding your space when you feel like you don't know a lot and that there's not resources out there for you. So I guess that's a huge part of revitalization, is finding those things and making them accessible and doing the research to understand them, and yeah. I just want to see access and abundance of culture and language, and I never want them to feel like they grew up lacking, because I want it to just be something they knew all along, not something they had to learn as an older person or an adult. And everything that we plan, be that a business decision, be that a service decision, be that a cultural decision, we are always looking 7 generations into the future. We want what is here to be cared for and passed on, and I think that mindset isn't always used. Sometimes it's a lot of me, and what's right now, and we really try to focus on what's beyond us, and I think that mindset makes me hopeful that we're going to continue to grow and make things better, and that my children's children will have their own issues to overcome, but the things that we had to overcome were resolved by their point.